Hello, good morning. I hope that you're all well and that you've had a good week. This will be the last Flosstube in January. The month just went in a flash and it's been a really busy month for Hands Across the Sea samplers and for me on a personal level. I've got lots to talk about in this video, and in this video we have a giveaway for this beautiful shaker needlework box, and we'll talk more about this a little bit later in the video. I've got my work in progress to show you. After almost 10 days of not having anything to stitch, my linen came from Michelle of Tabby Cat Linen. And if you remember, I showed you this piece a little while ago. It's a present for a friend. And look how the word friend was spelt without an I. And when this came, I knew that I really wanted to stitch this myself. So after Mrs. Campbell, this was my next project. And it's always the same. You never have the right piece of linen for a project. So I approached Michelle and she dyed a piece of linen especially for me. So she now has a new colour called Cat's Whiskers. And here is the linen that she's dyed for me. And here is my start. This is this sampler is, I don't know, it really speaks to me. It's very primitive and it reminds me a lot of the Pennsylvanian towels that you see embroidered. It's really quirky, lots of very interesting little motifs. I love the little flowers in the garden of the house. And I believe these are almost meant to be people. It's just really quirky. And the little girl who stitched it, her stitches are all over the place. They really are. So this is really keeping me on my toes charting. And I'm charting her and then I'm stitching the motif that I've charted. It's just really fun sampler. It only uses 3 colours. This is my little workbox for this project. This is a hand lock needle case, and I've got my needles there, I've got my scissors there, and I've got my threads and my glasses in the bottom. And the colours that I'm using for this sampler is those 3 colours, and just put those 2 together. Very pretty and a really accurate representation of the colours in the original sampler. When I first saw that sampler on the internet, I thought there was only 2 colours, but when it came, there were definitely 2 shades of this bluey, grey, greeny colour. It's very pretty. Very soothing colour combination to work with. My previous sampler was Mrs. Campbell, and Mrs. Campbell, I believe, has, I think it's 27 colours in. Let's have a look. Yes, 27 colours Mrs. Campbell has, and I bet you just thought, what did she have in her hand? Well, we have worked so hard to get Mrs. Campbell ready, and here she is. I have her booklet, and her booklet is on its way to our distributors and to stores. So later this week, on Thursday, I expected we will be releasing Mrs. Campbell. Very excited about this sampler. Here she is from the framers. Isn't that gorgeous? This has to be one of the prettiest samplers I've ever seen. Really lovely. But we will talk more about Mrs. Campbell next week after she's been released. talking about lots and lots of colours, and Mrs. Campbell, has 27 colours. Silk is becoming very hard to get hold of. Supplies of silk are running out, and there is a long wait for colours to be dyed. And I think that after COVID, or whilst COVID is going on, because it hasn't gone yet, that as the world, we have had to get used to waiting for things to come. I've been waiting 3 weeks for boxes to come, and if those boxes don't come within maybe the next week or so, I'm not going to be able to ship my booklets out to stores and to our distributors, because I won't have anything to put the booklets in. I was talking to Access Commodities in the week, and they were telling me that they are having terrible problems getting the little plastic spools that their silks are wound onto. And you think, plastic, what's difficult about getting plastic spools? Well, it turns out that the plastic of these spools is a very special plastic. It's a soft plastic, and the formula belongs to a company that's in Europe, and it's very difficult getting things out of Europe at the moment. And you just don't buy these in like 100 of them. You probably buy these in tens of thousands, if not more, and they get shipped over on big pallets. They're shipped as freight, and all of those things take a lot of organising. And with Europe at the moment, there is trouble brewing. And after the Olympics, we might be seeing some really dreadful things happening in Europe. We don't know. I am a great believer in stash. After lockdown happened, and you just couldn't get anything. If I didn't have my stash, I would not have been able to carry on reproducing samplers. I was really lucky. I had a good supply of silks, and I had a good supply of linen. It's important to have stash. So going back to silks, and silks starting to get in short supply, I've been waiting on some colours now. They've been on back order for probably about 4 months, and it's not because the dyers don't want to dye and the distributors don't want to supply the stores. It's just there's so many hold-ups in the supply chain. So if you're after a particular colour of silk, it's not the store's fault that they can't get hold of it. It's not the distributor's fault. It's just a whole sort of the supply chain and the problems that everybody's experiencing in the world at the moment. We've been so spoiled, wanting something, ordering it off Amazon and it's here the next day, or even a few hours later if you live in a city. So what can you do about this? Well, you look for an alternative. In the Auvera Soie range, they have so many different nuances of shades of colour that if you can't get, say for example, your red that is 500, well, there is 107. There's 2 reds there, very, very little difference between them, but they're 2 different colours. If this one isn't in supply, you could always go for this one. If you want to stitch something immediately and the colour is just not available, you have to look for alternatives. And sometimes when I'm designing, I'm trying to pick a red and I'm thinking, should I go for this one, that one? And I look at the one in one light and one in another light, and I could change the colour several times, going back and forth between 2 colours whilst I'm charting a sampler. And then when I start to stitch a sampler, I might start with one colour and pick it and go back to the other one, then decide, no, the first one was better. These are 4 different shades of red, yet they are all so, oh, sorry, I can't hold these like this so you can see that they're all so similar. The other day I was looking to chart or pick a colour, and I was stuck between these three, and I was putting them with the sampler. I was thinking, yes, that's the one, and then a few hours later the light changed. I thought, no, it's the other one. So even though I might have picked this one, when you come to stitch the sampler, if that is not available, you can always go for one of the other ones. And this happens in many, these are just in my red drawer. Those are all, that's a little bit darker, but those are all very similar colours. These colours, they're slightly different, but they're all similar in the same family. And when you go to your stash, you can look and choose, but if you haven't got those colours in your stash, this is where a store is invaluable. You can go to your local needlework store and pick colours yourself, or if you live too far away from a store, you can ring up a store and ask them to pick an alternative colour for you. When there's a problem, there is always a solution. This week on social media, we've seen some wonderful finishes of hats samplers. Now, I don't see everything that goes on social media. My Facebook newsfeed is full of, I don't know why Facebook put all these things into my newsfeed. At the moment, there's reading glasses and cat and dog things, and I think that our electronic devices listens to our conversations. I just happened to say that I need a new pair of reading glasses to my husband, and the next thing is my newsfeed is full of these adverts. So I see very little on Facebook. If I see something, it's because I've stumbled across it by accident, and the same with Instagram. So I've put together a medley of finishes that I've seen. If I haven't included your finish, I'm very sorry, it's because I haven't seen it. But you can always send your finish to me if you would like me to include in one of my little roundup medleys of hats finishes. Anyway, enjoy these. Exciting news. One of my favourite books is Remember Now Thy Creator. Fabulous book full of the most beautiful Scottish samplers. Really amazing book. And this book I have pored over so much that I feel as if I could quote word for word what is in this book. This book has been out of print for a very long time. And I had some fabulous news this week. This book is being made available in a digital format. I'm going to put the website address in the video for you, and I believe that it's going to be available from the 11th of March, but I'm saying that from memory. I can't look it up because it's on my iPad and I'm using my iPad to film this video, but I will also show the date on this video of when this book is available digitally. And this is an amazing resource. Scottish samplers, they are so special. And to read about them in the detail that Naomi Tarrant has written about them, and also through Naomi's eyes, you're in for a treat if you haven't got this book. I think it's a wonderful thing that this book has been made available again. Okay, it's always better to actually have a hard copy of a book, but you know, this book sells for hundreds of dollars, hundreds of pounds on the second-hand market, and this is, you know, a very good alternative for you. What else have I got to talk about? Ooh. Okay, it's been a really busy month for Hands Across the Sea samplers, and I was just looking back at what we have released. The rose and the giant pear, not the giant peach, which I keep on saying, the giant pear. Gosh, so many of you have stitched this little sampler, and it's been really amazing seeing everybody's finishes. I love seeing this on my sampler wall. This is actually on the sampler wall in my working kitchen, and I see this sampler an awful lot when I'm pottering away doing things in my kitchen, and it always brings a smile to my face. Then one of the other samplers that we released in the last 4 weeks was Sophia Doggett, a Quaker sampler, not an Ackworth, but a Quaker sampler. And lots of people are starting to stitch Sophia, and it's really lovely to see the posts on social media, and when people email me their progress photos. Not everybody's on social media, but you know, I have a fabulous correspondence going with lots of needleworkers via email. This was a joy to reproduce, and it was really lovely to be able to make available to needleworkers a sampler from the Fella collection. Then going from 2 colours to a rainbow of colours, we released Memories of the Past, and I think this might be 28 colours. So, you know, it truly is a rainbow of colours. This is just a feast for the eyes. And then the other release that we've had is just using 1 colour, and that is Elizabeth Wood's, which is an Anglo-French sampler. Elizabeth was an English girl, but she stitched her sampler in Boulogne-sur-Mer in France. And she promised, which I think is adorable, that she will be always a good and obedient little girl. Such a little sweet sampler. So that was the roundup of samplers in the last 4 weeks. Now, there is another sampler here, Lucy Barber. And Lucy Barber has not been available, we haven't made her available for release yet. It's just one of those ones that are stacked up waiting to be the booklet to be written. This is a beautiful sampler, really colourful. I stitched the sampler and I really enjoyed it. So you might be asking, why is this sampler on the table today? Well, it involves our giveaway. So there she is. And how she involves the giveaway for our shaker box is, if you would like to be entered into the giveaway for this shaker needlework box, you need to leave a comment on this video, not on any post on social media. Only the comments left on this video will be entered into the giveaway. And there's a question that you have to answer. How many cross stitches over 2 are in Lucy Barber? And I wanted to pick a sampler that hadn't been released so that nobody could go through their chart counting them. So how many cross stitches are in Lucy Barber? And cross stitches over 2. There are only 2 stitches in Lucy, some satin stitching and some cross stitching. And it's just the number of cross stitching over 2. Just write that on this video in the comments, and on my birthday, which is February the 20th, the person who gets closest to the number of cross stitches will win this shaker needlework box. This is made by Andrew Spilsbury in the UK. And a few weeks ago, I showed some boxes that I had bought, and I loved them so much that I wanted to give somebody else the joy of owning one of Andrew's boxes. So on my birthday on the 20th of February, the draw will be made and one of you will win this box. When you take the lid off, you've got a tray, and then inside you have storage for your needlework. Oh gosh, I love the smell of the wood when you open these. So there it is. And just, put the number of stitches you think that's in Lucy Barber. Let's have one more little look at Lucy. If more than one person guesses the correct number, those names will go into a hat and be drawn out. If nobody guesses the exact number, it'll be the person who is closest to the number of cross stitches. So those are the satin stitches in the flower head, but the rest of this is cross stitch over 2. Good luck with your guess. I don't even know how many stitches. I will have to sit down and look at the charting programme, and it will tell me how many stitches are in that sampler. Right, okie dokie. Is there anything else that I've got to talk about? Last week we had a giveaway for a project journal from Hobby Has Needleworks that records all your different projects. And also in that giveaway there was also this little silver needle minder from Hobby Has, and somebody is going to win the project book and the needle minder. The draw is the 1st of February. If you want to enter that, just go back to the previous Flosstube and I'll put the number here, and you must put on that video the comment, not on any post. It has to be on that particular video, and all you have to say is that you're a follower of Hobby Has Needleworks, and you can follow them either on Facebook or Instagram, but just say that you are obviously you have to be a follower to say that you're a follower. And on the 1st of February a name is going to be picked randomly for that giveaway as well. we're going out for lunch today. I was up bright and early this morning taking the boys out on the cliffs, and I was expecting to be the only person out there because we went so early, and there was a whole stream of people running. They were in groups coming along, and the dogs thought it was wonderful seeing all these people running, and they would run with them for a little bit, so they enjoyed it. I was listening to my Outlander book. I've been saving Outlander, stretching it out, so I'm only listening to it when I'm walking at the moment. And some of those chapters, they're so tender, and some of them are so interesting that I'm finding I am replaying the chapters a few times before moving on to the next one. So I really am making that book last, and my gosh, I'm really, really enjoying it. In a few weeks' time, I'm off to the States, if everything goes according to plan, no COVID hiccups. And whilst I'm there, the next season of Outlander starts, and I am really looking forward to watching that with Deborah, Melissa and Linda. We're all avid Outlander fans, and we're going to put our pyjamas on and have some snacks and just stitch, chat and watch Outlander. Doesn't that sound wonderful? I can't wait to spend time with my needlework friends. Getting very, very excited about that trip now. I have got my suitcase out on the bed in the guest bedroom, and I'm starting to put things in to take, so it's all becoming very, very real. I'm so excited to be travelling again. The week ahead, I'm going to carry on working on a present for a friend. It's a delightful sampler to work on. I'm really thrilled. It's very, very soothing, the colours. Have one more little look at it. Simple, but just so, so pretty. There's beauty in every single sampler, as long as you just stop and look for it and open your heart. Okay, I better go. Otherwise, we're going to be late for lunch. I love Sunday lunch. I love all the vegetables and the Yorkshire pudding. You've got to have Yorkshire pudding with Sunday lunch. Okay, until the next time, stay safe, stay well, and good luck in the giveaway. Bye-bye.